Welcome to Pablo Torre Finds Out. I am Pablo Torre, and today we're going to find out what this sound is.
No! Oh my God, it's so milky. My dad would do the free AOL CDs.
Oh, of course.
And so we had to get new screen names every 2 weeks.
Did you get
because
them off,
once he used the free hours, he would make a whole new account. Yeah, he would get them in the mail. He would actively go out and seek them.
At a certain point, the AOL free trial CDs were a certain form of currency.
Yes. Oh man, my dad had that system figured out. And I was like, hey, Dad, so this is kind of like a social thing, and my name keeps changing. It's getting tough for me out here. Please, can we just... And then they came out with AIM, which was the best.
Yeah.
You didn't have to do all the other stuff with the chat rooms. You could just do
I remember
Messenger.
when warning debuted as a feature. Remember when you could warn people on AIM?
No. But I remember
on.
next to nothing about my life, so please, tell me about it.
There was a function that I presume was invented because of online bullying. But you could warn the person you were instant messaging with.
To whom?
To them. So you would press a lightning bolt icon and they would get a warning.
An electric shock?
But it was a percentage. And you could keep warning them. And if you warned them to 100%,
this is coming back
they
to me
couldn't
now.
send an IM.
Huh.
And so presumably this was used again to create politeness and decency. And instead it was just weaponized so
We do that with everything.
teenage boys could just lightning bolt each other over and over again.
Oh. I thought you were going to say weaponized in an actually bad way. That ended up being pretty harmless there at the end.
It was fun.
In terms of weaponization on the internet, that wasn't too bad.
I mean, it wasn't like we fomented a revolution in Myanmar.
Did Twitter get something today? It was not
It was not
that,
working.
Yeah, so I think
Wow.
I think we gotta go. I think it's time to go. It's time for me to leap into Blue Ski. I'm heading over to Blue Ski.
God.
Everybody's very nice there. It's me who's hesitant. It's the
welcome you.
It's the relearning of the stuff. It's the re-following the people that I gotta. I had it, and I didn't do anything that made me deserve to have it taken away. Why did you take it from us? Why?
Warning was invented. Oh wow, this is a message board post from 2003.
What you have there in front of you?
What I have there in front of
me. Dug that deep
me.
into the internet.
Straightdope.com.
Okay, that's a
boards.straightdope.com.
Who knows?
It's. But hold on, where's the
That's
actual
a real website?
Oh, here's a headline from the Gainesville Sun.
Okay. And that's a real thing, or something named to sound like a real thing.
Yep. Like the Epoch Times.
Yes. And which is what again?
Presumably a real thing. And not, as it turns out in this Wikipedia page, a far-right international multi-language newspaper and media company affiliated with the Falun Gong New Religious Movement. That is the Epoch Times.
That is Shen Yun.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, right.
Shen Yun.
That performing arts festival thing.
It's a show that they make seem like it's like a Broadway show, but it travels.
Operated by the Falun Gong
That's
religious
right.
movement.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yep.
And I looked into that because I heard somebody say randomly, because Dan and I see these commercials all the time because they run during Jeopardy. And so we're always like, what is this? Maybe someday we should go to this, thinking it's just like any other performance that comes through New York. And I saw it come up somewhere in a subreddit of somebody explaining how it was cult-based.
Yeah.
And it shocked me. And I was like, Dan, I think something might be up with this. And then I looked into it, and it's a little...
I mean, it's the Los Angeles Times, 2020. Quote, both Shen Yun and Epoch Times are funded and operated by members of Falun Gong, a controversial spiritual group that was banned by China's government in 1999. And it goes on to describe... an organization that has claimed that aliens started invading human minds in the beginning of the 20th century.
You know?
Leading to mass corruption and the invention of computers, which would make sense.
Wouldn't it?
Is this table moved?
Oh, am I that spatially unaware?
The chairs
or are
new.
you having a moment?
The chairs
Where'd
are
you
new.
come from? A conference?
Yes, a lanyard from work. Okay, relax, dude.
Sorry, we were talking about how I'm dressed like a 12-year-old boy, so if you want to pick up and get a couple of those in.
What's on your shirt?
This is my friend's podcast. This is the best hockey podcast on earth. It's called What Chaos. It's my friends Pete and DJ, and I love it. And they have great merch, and it's like high quality merch, which tough to get these
What
days.
size is that shirt?
It's oversized because look, they sent one to Dan too, and I showed it to Dan, and he's like, I can't wear shirts that are oversized like that. And I said, you know what? I don't think I can either, but I'm gonna. It's cool. And I'm pretending, we were all, I thought, gonna pretend I looked cool wearing it, but I see that.
You look cool.
Here's the problem. I was getting dressed to run out the door. I was ready to go. And Dan's like, oh, you're going to do a podcast. You want some of this bowl? And I was like, yeah. And then I just stood there looking in the mirror and I was like, what are you going to wear?
And you're like, this t-shirt isn't large enough.
I was like, what are you going to wear? And I was like, I don't know. Let's just wear this. And I walked in before I left and I said, hey, you got me high at the wrong time. Is it okay to go outside in this outfit? And he was like, what? Yeah, totally. I could tell he said it scared. And now, anyway, how's everybody doing?
We have fun. At the end of the day, what we do is have fun.
Okay, let's do two things. Number one, spoiler alert, we're going to talk about Severance. But number two, I would like to set up how it is that we all realized we should be talking about Severance today. We have been podcasting and watching a show which we love and are obsessed with to varying subreddit depths with a guy.
Oh, yeah, I freaked out when I realized.
Who was on
the
show.
That, as I understand, is the preferred term.
I think it's exactly the condescending verbiage that I'd expect from a group trying to save people from their own choices.
Choices. Did her INZI have a choice?
And where are you getting these terms?
Fine, call it someone who's had their brain split in half.
That has nothing to do with what we do at Lumon, nor any severance procedure.
I understand you don't want to answer my question.
No, I'm answering your question.
It'll reveal that you are complicit in something totally immoral.
What's immoral?
Tough to buy that guy as just a regular guy in that world. You know what I mean?
Can I
must be a movie star in this world.
Honest compliment. Crushed the role of guy on television
Really did.
debating the severance procedure.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Really?
Legitimately.
Good points. You were on the right side of history,
Thank
I
you.
believe. I'm not
you.
sure yet. We're not done, but I believe. And let me also say
Please do.
that because everything in this show is intentional and every shot we see is carefully considered, I would say my interpretation of your face being hidden by Mark S.'s face is that perhaps you are actually the protagonist.
Yes.
Of
Severance.
Severance, the show. Well, I'm not allowed to talk about that, but yes, I am the star.
That's
of
why
Severance.
I didn't think we were going to podcast because I was like, you mean with the star?
Genuine question.
Go.
When you, was it an audition? How do you get the role?
Good question.
How does this
Good
work?
question.
Fantastic. So here's how it worked. I auditioned for, I don't remember which role. I want to say the Zach Cherry role. Dylan, is that the character's name?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think I auditioned for
So
that
humble.
role and then gradually not getting that role, auditioned for smaller and smaller and
Yeah.
smaller and smaller roles. I think that this one, I don't even know if I auditioned for. They just might have been like, well, we got to throw this fucking guy something. And so then, there I was.
Again, if I can spin,
Yeah,
if I
please.
may.
Spin.
They liked you so much, they wrote a role specifically to use you.
That seems extremely,
They met you a
profoundly
bunch. How many?
unlikely.
They kept bringing you back.
It's a lot of, no, not for this. Nah, not for that. You know what he could be right? No, not for that.
But
you
for
do,
this.
you do have a name.
Do I?
Do you not
You
know
don't
your
know
own
this?
name?
I don't know.
In the
Oh, you know what? I
Severance
thought this because you mentioned it.
Wikipedia.
You mentioned it in the group text, and you did not react to it in a way that I was like, I don't know if he even knows that's his character's name.
Gone over
Yeah.
my head completely.
And if it was your name, that'd be a tough thing for it to do.
You got severance from your own Severance.
I might have
Oh
been
my God!
Severance
Did
while
you?
I was there.
Oh my God! He doesn't
They
know
make
his own
every
name.
actor do that.
Oh my God!
Steven.
Steven. Oh yeah, I could feel that.
Yeah,
I definitely could
I
feel
can go
that.
back to that place.
Now that I remember,
I can go back to that place.
I did feel Steven-ish while we were shooting it.
Yeah, I mean,
Stephen-ish, future president.
Stephen.
Stephen-ish
again,
Smith.
God. Talk about things I would like to wipe
He
from
wants
my
to be president
brainstem.
so bad.
Katie is
he
on
wants
the
to be
fucking
president
loose, dog, and I
so
love it.
bad.
He's contractually allowed to talk ever more about becoming president.
It's
actually.
wild.
I think it could happen. I believe it.
I think it could happen too. That's still scary.
Let's stay on track.
Okay.
Episode 3, first season, Steven.
Steven.
What do
PH? V.
You should know. What does it feel?
What does it feel
Feels
like?
V.
What's
honestly.
your motivation?
It's V, isn't it? I could tell it was V.
You're damn right.
Yeah.
God, he knows. He really studies this
Like
stuff.
the corner of two walls
That's
in a
right.
hallway.
Holy
That's
shit.
That's right. Whoa.
Spoiler, there are walls in
wow,
Severance.
wow,
We should have said
wow.
that ahead of time.
And hallways.
Can I say something else
Wow.
that's not really on track? I don't believe in spoilers. I just don't believe in it.
What does that
It came
mean?
out at whatever time it came out. If you didn't watch it then, you, dude. That's
no,
it.
but I think warning people who aren't normally tuning into this for that.
That's on them.
Just warning them that up until that certain, and people are going to be mad too because they're going to want to hear the podcast, but you just got to prepare for that. I would like to talk to my friends about the show that I like.
I would like to remove the spoiler alert that we gave before because so far we haven't spoiled anything.
I think we did, didn't I?
Steven is huge. You kidding me? You showed the scene with Steven?
What did Steven...
Actually, I do have a question. Would you have the answer if I asked it?
Almost definitely not.
In the clip, the thing you're upset about, your character, as you'll recall, I'm sure. Sorry, I don't mean to explain
Honestly, I didn't
your own
remember. Someone
to you.
people have been sending me this clip, so I am like
I mean,
being refreshed.
really, season 1 was so long ago. It's
yes,
crazy.
it was 2022.
Years. It's so
February
long ago.
25, 2022 is
This
when
is
we
why
first
the
saw
rewatch.
Steven.
Yeah, I was like, dude, I can't go back. I have to go back. But I'm pretty sure I had met you by then, so I should have noticed you the first time, and I'm sorry that I didn't.
Okay, thank you. I've been waiting for that apology.
I know, I could feel it. What was I talking about so passionately?
You had a question.
You're talking about a woman who is pregnant, who got, after a company activated severance or allowed severance, a month later, a woman got pregnant at work.
Yes.
And you're arguing that, like, how could you possibly be saying this is ethical?
Yes, big ethical problem.
A month later, this girl got, lady got pregnant. And my question was, does that imply, and this is probably a stupid question, but I'm not afraid to ask it.
Brave.
Does that imply that other companies that aren't just Lumon are also using severance at their companies, letting their workers be severed? Or did we already know that and I should have? But it feels like he works at Lumon. So it's like if other companies are also doing severance, that means he's at like the headquarters of what's kind of a global problem. If
You're
other
talking about when you say
companies
he,
are
you're talking
gonna start,
about
the story we're watching is now suddenly even more important because it's not just about this one company that does this to their workers. It would be then they license out the tech to all these other companies.
I assumed the one company, but I should say to you with extreme clarity, I do not know shit. I know.
You know what? Me neither.
Even possibly less than you know.
Yeah.
So what did you know when you were playing the role?
Borderline nothing. I knew what I had read of the scripts, which were not massive amounts from previous auditions and like the basic premise of the show.
From trying to be Zach
From
Cherry.
trying to
funny.
be increasingly larger
Like,
or increasingly smaller
fits.
characters.
I see where this fits.
Exactly. And it was super nice and easy breezy.
Were you actually talking to that person? Or was that
That
imposed?
person was very close to me physically. We weren't, it's like green screened, I think, probably whatever.
Well, she
is on
becomes
it.
she becomes a big character.
Yeah, no, she does.
Yeah, I think, and when I
debate
met her,
partner.
I sort of assumed that we were roughly the same tier of person
Yeah, fair enough.
because I
You're like, we're both kind of just here for a little bit.
Yeah, and I think seeing her like in every
How does that feel?
episode feels great because you know what? I'm happy for her.
That's right.
And I have never experienced
test and
envy
you
or
passed
jealousy
it.
in my
Me neither.
life.
What even is that? Sorry, you
Yeah.
said NV? The
That's
two
right.
letters?
That's
N
right.
and V?
Yep. Nevada. I don't know.
Know her.
Adam Scott obscuring your face for a large chunk of that.
Yeah.
Both poetic and also to the person whose face got obscured.
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
Are you asking me?
Yeah, that's a good.
I did think
That's how a question sounds.
I
right?
did think that it was hilarious because it was kind of a thing where
I would laugh at that.
having come in
It's
for
so
I'd be
funny
like, are you
visually
kidding me?
because you're our friend.
Yes.
having come in for increasingly smaller and smaller roles, you get the script and you're like, oh wow, this is actually like There's actually a decent amount of stuff. It's not
so
like,
funny.
It's not like a huge role or anything, but there's like a lot of lines.
That's so
and
funny.
you watch it,
You're like, oh,
and they're
okay,
like,
I'm
wow,
blurred.
they really
I'm blurred.
found
I'm
a way.
seeing me, but I'm hearing my voice, but I'm blurry. Okay, but surely they're gonna. There she is. Okay,
Well, we're seeing a lot of her.
That's
Okay.
nice.
This
And
feels not accidental.
That's
The blocking
so
of this scene seems
funny.
very deliberate.
It does
actually.
feel vaguely
So
prankish.
funny. Did you piss off Ben Stiller at any point in your career?
I don't think so.
Good.
He was
Would you
so
like to
nice.
say anything to Ben while you have a microphone?
No. I mean, I would only say, sure, you've done such a wonderful job. And if you ever needed that character to recur, I could see a lot of ways in which it would be it would work. And
the fans
but
are
I defer to you.
demanding.
Fans
more
are
Steven.
demanding. I'm that deep in the subreddit. I
They
do
call
know
them the stevedores. Those are the ones who are like they're really pushing for
Yes.
more Steven.
So to go back to the subreddit. in
I'm not on the
real life.
subreddit at all, by the way.
Good. And again, that's kind of goes back to what I'm saying. I don't even really recommend it because if you
I'm all in
go too deep, I just think
I'm in.
sometimes it's a little
deep.
too much about trying to get every little I zoomed in on this and I checked on it. And it's like some of that is there so that you can appreciate it upon revisiting. If you get through, what a blessing to get through a TV show and go like, let me take another spin at that because that was really interesting, and then have your viewership enhanced.
So
Like
you're
I think of, like,
rewatching the episodes.
Yeah, I just started this weekend. I'm on episode 5, I think. I think I just did 5 of season 1. And I don't think I'm going to rewatch season 2 because here's the other crazy thing. The beginning of season 2, I was like, I don't think this show and I get along anymore. I was
My
like,
concern was I was slow.
I was like, it's losing me.
So
I'm
the
not sure.
finale-
There's too many things.
the finale of episode, or the last episode was the finale of season 1.
Yeah,
Was one of the great television shows.
it was amazing.
Incredible.
Almost criminal how long we had to wait. Almost criminal how long we had to wait for a season 2. In the subreddit, maybe this is disproving that I'm not deep, but I went back just to make sure I grasped all the concepts. And people were like, I looked ahead at the subreddit for the episode of the finale, just to be like, what did people say right after they saw that? And what they said was like, I can't believe we got to wait another year. I can't believe we have to wait 12 more months. And it was like, oh boy, you have to wait like that times 3 before you're going to get another episode.
Right. Like
Or
part of
2 and a half.
part of like my subreddit psychology, and I've made this mistake before. Like honestly, I really enjoyed the last season of the White Lotus. But the thing about the White Lotus was last season, I felt like the subreddit collectively was trying harder than the writers actually wound up having tried. Like there was the invention of
Yes.
theories and details being read into in ways that were just beyond what the intent was, it turned out, for that season. And Severance, any show like this seems to be, teasing, knowing that the audience will inevitably go and spin off into their own sorts of rabbit holes. But the question of will it get paid off, right? So the finale of season 1, I was like, okay, they're doing it. Now, after episode 7, I'm like, finally, they're doing it. And hanging in and this is like the Lost problem, is that like you can get these signs that they're doing it. The question is, at the very end, will this all pay off? And I am so hopeful that Severance will.
I think it will.
I've just been burned before.
Here's
I
the
think it
thing.
will,
So what solved my burn of Lost, because Lost, I felt like I thought we were collecting all these clues and would be rewarded, and we were not. And I think it's because I went into it thinking they were gonna tell me the answers. And what cured me of that was when I watched The Leftovers. Because The Leftovers was like,
Yes.
hey, we're not gonna tell you why. It's gonna happen, and we're making a show about what happens after it happens, because they don't know why either. So why should you know why? We're not solving it. And so then once I accepted that, I really liked that show.
I agree with that so much. Mine is like a little bit in reverse where like you said that Leftovers cured you. I thought of like Lost like primed me
Yeah.
for Leftovers.
Right,
Of like,
so
okay,
I
now I
think-
know the way these people work is
Yes.
some of this is just not going to get answered. And there's no way, a certain point into Leftovers, you're like, they can't answer all this.
Yeah.
Like Severance, which I do have full faith will pay off, so to speak. They're not going to be able to tell you what all this shit was. Some of it is just going to be like, oh yeah, and that happened. And we couldn't tie up every single piece of this. So the questions are, like, what's exciting is to think which of the things will be the ones that are answered.
Right.
I hope to find out.
When Steven is revealed as Stephen Lumon.
Huge. It's going to be, I'm not supposed to say.
Can we go back to talking about the show I like?
Episode 7.
Wait, is that the one? Is that the one that just was on?
The one before that?
A second to last.
So the episode about Gemma, the
The big reveal.
Miss Casey.
Jenna's in all the different rooms.
Yeah. All those rooms. That, I mean, but just I sort of just palpably experienced what it's like to be out in a broader world after being claustrophobically inside of these hallways. And just like, it was weird to be like, I have this feeling when I watch The White Lotus, when I watch Succession, where I'm like, I am enjoying this not merely because this is a really well-constructed show, also because I'm into the aesthetics of it. And I just found myself being like, oh, wow. Like
that episode was beautiful.
It was just beautifully shot,
that was
decorated,
the
like
woman
the plants I loved.
The woman who directed that.
Is a cinematographer.
That was her first time directing an episode. It was gorgeous.
It was gorgeous in every way. And the broader takeaway, though,
What's her name? Do you know?
Jessica Lee Gagne.
Nice.
She knocked that shit out of the park.
Yeah, she really did. And again, knocked me on my ass. That episode was like, it's crazy to see a sea change in, again, the depth that I go of the subreddit, which is not too deep. I'm not reading other theories. I gave a couple other people too much. I was reading it and then was like, okay, this is nuts. That's obviously not going to happen.
I'm like a catfish. I'm just like everything on the sea floor. I'm just like hoovering up.
Yeah, that's crazy. You don't worry that you're like, this is a waste of my.
I mean,
okay.
I don't know what that accent is, but I know that,
to watch people
Stevedore
go,
59 was like, this is actually a dream sequence.
People loved Mark and Helly. They loved that shit. And then in one episode, right after they have sex,
the percentage
first.
Increase in any Mark having sex has absolutely skyrocketed.
Dude is getting more laid than he's ever been in his life.
Dude was extremely not having sex in there, and now he's having
had never ever even
all over.
Probably
the place.
never. Any Mark had probably never had sex, and now any Mark is doing it on the regular.
And then after episode 7, everybody was like, Helly. Like, it was crazy that they did such a good job of portraying the love that Mark had for his wife and that they had as like a couple. We had known nothing about that. So we weren't really even understanding his pain yet. We were
like,
told
Mark
about
has a
it.
dead wife. That sucks,
like,
I guess.
Okay.
Let's watch these people have sex under this desk. Yeah, to speed run through a lifetime of a relationship and have that not feel like it's cheap. And that they did it for, again, an artificial pulling of a puppet string is so hard. And by the end, that's exactly the right reaction. You feel bad that you were rooting for you were shipping the wrong couple.
You also get hot Adam Scott in there, which you don't really get from most of the show.
We needed a little bit. We just needed to be like, yeah, good. I bet he was like, hell yeah. I can just throw my fastball in the middle of because people are starting to lose. I saw people using the meme of like, you don't love this guy, you just are on SSRIs or something like that. Of the like, if you stop taking your beta blockers, this is gonna go away.
Then
he comes out there
Adam
and you're
Scott.
like, oh no. He's
This
you're
whole
losing
time,
him he's getting lost in the role. It's the point.
His sex appeal has been playing kind of left-handed this whole time.
Yeah.
And he's like, let me actually show you, just so you know, my hook actually looks like this.
Yeah.
And you're like,
and you're like,
my gosh.
That's right.
Delicious.
That's right. There's our hottie. And so that's really what I think Severance is about, what it boils down to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
You know? It's like,
okay, wait, can I ask a question? Just a thought about this?
Yeah.
I don't know what episode it is. When I watch and I kind of I don't delve. I don't like go in to see all the secret
that's good.
thoughts,
That's
etc.
normal. That's
I'm not
normal.
in the subreddits.
Good. Again, I'm saying it and I feel like you still think I might be insulting you.
When Helena sees Mark at the diner or whatever.
Yeah, the Chinese restaurant, I believe.
The Chinese restaurant, thank you. And says the wrong name for Gemma. Do you know what I'm talking about? She calls her like Hannah or something and Mark corrects her.
Yes.
What do we think is going on?
So two things I thought were happening there. One is that's the classic move when you are trying to throw shade
What
at
was it?
someone's
Oh.
ex.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, how's Kristen? Her name is Katie.
Yeah.
Like that thing.
Yeah.
You
Like,
but
you
don't
know
want-
that.
you
Don't
knew
do that.
the whole time.
You knew.
The other thing is she testing his cognitive, just sort of like
Could be. It always could be that.
attachment, which is
The whole
also
thing.
what episode 7 was about.
Yeah,
right?
it's the whole thing.
Like just
Interesting.
testing your pain tolerance.
Yeah.
Your
God,
emotional
a nightmare
pain
of an
tolerance.
episode. That is
That guy.
By the
Robbie
way,
Benson?
I learned that guy.
What a
And that's no
voice.
offense to him, you know? It's just like, buddy, it's like I feel like there's a guy in Green Mile that as soon as he's either sucks or is an incredible actor, because I was like, if I ever see that guy again, I'll punch him and I won't feel bad.
Dr.
He'll
Mauer.
get it.
He'll know why.
Yeah, and that's how Dr. Mauer, you're next on that list. Like, that guy sucks. That guy sucks. He's a creep. He played a creep so well that I
Putting
never
his-
want to
his-
see
his-
that. Oh
his
my God.
Fingers in her mouth as the dentist was.
Don't you feel like
nightmare.
they could come back to him and you could see him in the outside world and you'd be like, oh, I see kind of how he got here. Like Severance would do that. Severance, they're not
No.
going to, I don't think.
The
No,
origin
not to
story
me.
of
Maybe
Dr.
to-
Mauer.
maybe
Find
to
a
a
way for you to
weaker-
be like, oh, I get why he wants to pretend to be a dentist. That
No.
actually checks out.
No, because if you think he's just pretending to be a dentist,
Dr.
Yeah, you're
Mauer
right, you're right.
as an Audi is Steven's assistant.
Yeah.
His asshole boss who he's browbeaten by, and he's taking it out on Miss Casey.
Miss Casey. Oh my God, just what a show. There's just so much happening.
How many more episodes are there?
I think last season went to 9, so I would have thought 8, but maybe 9.
We're looking it up.
So there's either 1 or 2 left. It's got to be 2 left.
There are 2 more.
Okay, good. So that's what I'm right.
The After Hours
As
is the next
usual.
episode. And then the last episode is Cold Harbor, which feels like
Oh,
it's
of
been
course.
signaled, of course,
I
by
mean-
the room that
Sure.
again, if you haven't watched the show, I hope you enjoy us nerding out about it.
It's
But
just
it's just the
really
thing that I've been
good.
dying to talk
It's
about
just
with
really,
friends who
really
also are watching.
good.
But Cold Harbor's not just the room, it's also, that's the project that Mark's
That he's
working
been
on.
working
He's
on,
gonna
yes,
finish
of
Cold
course.
Harbor.
And it was also, it was written on the crib that he was building in the flashback. And I don't
Right.
think that matters. That's probably just like shout out to that prop director. But it's just
You think
an
that was
interesting.
an accident?
Well, no, I don't think it was an
See, this
accident.
is me, the catfish, being like,
I don't think it
"You
was an
you
accident,
fool."
but I don't think it definitively tells us that Cold Harbor is going to be baby related.
Yeah, I feel like that episode 8 is very, when you go to like a super fancy restaurant and the chef is like, and for this course, it's a parsnip steak. And you're like, I would never eat this, but let's see what you got, bro.
I'll try it.
This to me is the parsnip
Yeah,
steak
yeah.
episode where they're like, what if we did this? I love that. I love imagining a writer's room where they're like, and how about this insane thing? And someone goes, yeah, absolutely. Let's absolutely do that.
Yes,
but to the
but you
point
have to trust the restaurant.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
you can't do it at a gas station.
And to the point of like living in this claustrophobic series of hallways and now like actually exploring the rest of the map.
Mm.
And you're like,
Which
oh,
is named after the people. So you're like, this is clearly not just in the company, which I think is when we get our most crucial piece of information is when you in the real world are talking about, like, I love the little bits that take it out into the, like at the dinner party in season 1, episode 2, where they have the non-dinner dinner party where they're all sitting around. It's all Rickon's intellectualist friends
Yeah.
talking about nothing but saying a lot of words, and they're having a dinnerless dinner where they focus more on sating themselves with the conversation and
That's
really
what-
digging into
what's
each other's
nourishing.
brains instead of being distracted by the food.
Wow.
It's like perfect. That's why I love Rickon as a character. He's perfectly written. His friends suck. And then when Severance comes up, you feel everyone go like, the way, like, if now, I'm not even going to quote anything that could come up, but like think of the hot button topics that like make everybody go like, I have an opinion. I wonder what your opinion is. We don't really talk about this. Comes up in conversation. And then you see all these people who like performatively like to show you how smart they are, give their take on, it's very interesting. And then your news report, you hear that it's like might be happening at other companies. There's like other stuff. It's why I watch shows now with the captions on, because sometimes like hearing what the TV is saying in the background, while not crucially important, does add like a context that makes you go, that is what we would do. We would absolutely respond to Severance with something like that.
We're just officially at a point where Michael Cruz Kayne, who is one of the characters you're describing, has no idea what the you're talking about.
Really?
But that is totally true. You're at a level of rewatch, but also like of pay attention that I don't achieve. Even though I watch Severance, you're very close to like teaching a class on Severance. I feel like that's the level of
writing fan fiction.
No. Oh God.
I don't mean that you would want to.
Oh,
I mean,
we can talk about something else that's mortifying.
I would like to stay in the world of entertainment and bring you the other story that I wanted to talk to you about.
What's that?
Yeah, great.
Did you guys see Saltburn?
I didn't see Saltburn, but I
didn't
did
either.
because of this. I clicked the link to the video of the scene, and I wish I hadn't clicked on it.
Well, Katie.
Oh, which scene is it? Was it when he the ground?
This scene is this scene.
Oh my God! You can't show this at work. You can't make me watch this.
And just in case you're not familiar with this video, by the way, this is, in fact, Barry Keoghan sneaking in and drinking the bathwater in the tub that Jacob Elordi's character had just bathed and ejaculated in.
You better be going somewhere with this.
He's really
because
nope,
what
that's
the
it.
Why? Why are we?
So I bring that scene up because the bathtub from Saltburn
Oh my God.
has been purchased by a guy who collects stuff from movies.
His name is Pablo Torre.
And the bathtub is here today. We're gonna wheel out the bathtub.
Is it? I don't want to do not play the clip again. I just am. Did we ever see a? What? No, no. Do we ever see a wide of the? Oh my God! It's like look at the texture of it.
It is the slurping does.
Turn it off.
Feel
Do we ever see
aggressive.
the tub? Good night.
Good night, mate.
Is it like a claw foot?
We'll show
There you
you.
go. Wide shot of the tub.
Pause.
Pause. Pause.
Legally, you have to pause.
So there's
Thank you.
a wood sort of like
Well, you think?
rim, I guess.
I can't tell if it's old or new. It's new.
It's definitely game used is the point. It
No, I
is
meant like if that's what style of
expensive.
yeah. Sure.
Expensive. So like the whole premise of Saltburn is that these guys are doing stuff inside of this estate
Yeah.
in England.
That's the whole point.
That's honestly like more or less the point.
They're
is
like
the only
watching this
person
house or
who's-
something.
Hey, these guys are
It's
slurping
like,
each other's goo.
In Jacob Elordi's family, they have this estate.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they
the
are
estate is called Saltburn, I guess.
Yes.
And these are like two buddies.
So
Well, I mean,
longer
you do that with your
story
buddies, or-
summarized is that
Hey, man.
Barry Keoghan, I don't know.
I think it's just. I thought it was Keegan, but
No,
maybe
I think
it's
he's saying it right. Say yours again.
Keoghan.
That's right.
Barry Keoghan is a student
time.
at the same school, and he gets taken in by Jacob Elordi, and it's this whole kind of like difference in class dynamic. But Barry Keoghan is also like this incredible con man. In other words, talented Mr. Ripley.
Mr. Ripley.
One might even dare say.
Mm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Anyhow, this guy bought this bathtub for $4,375 in an online auction.
Talented Mr. Sip Me. Is that something?
Oh no!
Oh, no.
No, no,
No! No!
Sorry, you were saying?
If you weren't sure that Katie is lightly stoned.
God, what?
When people ask Mr. Harvey, this guy's name is Mr. Harvey. His first name, I believe, might be
Steve.
Kyle.
Steve Harvey.
Oh my God.
bought
I
the
buried
tub.
lead. Steve Harvey, that mustache doing work
God,
on
can
that
you
tub.
Stop. It's like
When people ask Mr. Harvey what he does with the bathtub, his answer is simple. Quote, I just look at it, he said. I'm looking at it right now. Barry Keoghan was right there. It's so crazy to me, period, end quote.
I mean, this dude is if I had to guess, an outwardly extremely horny guy, whoever bought this.
but he's a movie. If it wasn't a movie collector guy, then I would feel like more so that. But movie collector guy, if he wants to collect all the iconic things from movies, he could power through, how weird that is.
It just feels like you
And how
got that thing
horny
in your
that
house, so
is.
someone can say, "What is this?" And you can go, "Have you seen this scene from Saltburn?"
But how
Do
many?
you know
what are
Betty
the other?
Keoghan?
Do we know the other? Already better than his, if
Thank
I
you.
may. Do we
How
know
dare
what
you.
other things from what other movies he has?
Other Saltburn memorabilia he bought in the auction.
Oh, well, that's different. That's also
include a
that's-
framed
that's-
photo of Mr. Elordi and Mr. Keoghan,
Okay.
and ensembles that the actors wore in the film, which won awards for costume production and design. Also, the bathtub came complete with stains around its drain.
Oh my god.
Fake
That's
stains. Stains like
I don't know.
stains.
I'd call it a stain.
The
It
production
doesn't
designer has
doesn't
said that
tend
they were
to
made using edible paint.
stain. Okay.
Edible paint stains.
I
So,
just
In case Keoghan accidentally
stain.
dislodged some
I
of the
don't
stains.
think
They
you
were
can
edible.
stain a tub. I'm looking for one of you to take that over. I don't think you can stain a tub with that.
Not with that.
I'm not
attitude.
aware of. I'm
don't
not
think
aware
it
of the
stains.
acid content being enough to stain the tub.
Mr. Harvey estimated that he'd acquired about 200 pieces. This is across all of cinema.
Okay.
And that he had paid about $70,000 for all of them. Though a handful
Total?
had cost him thousands of dollars, most were bought for hundreds of dollars, he said. They include dozens of clothes previously owned by Joe Exotic,
No.
subject of the Netflix documentary series Tiger King. Several outfits worn by Lady Gaga in the film House of Gucci.
Okay, sure.
A mask and 2 vans from the horror movie The Black Phone.
Never heard of
Not
that.
familiar.
I don't like horror
A
movies,
horse
though.
trailer from Twisters.
Okay, sick.
And a diner sign from Friday the 13th, one of his favorite horror films.
That's cool. That's
Okay,
cool.
so it's kind of all in like a big warehouse.
In his residence, it seems.
Okay, so he's having that moment you described like 50
All the
times
time.
throughout his. And have you ever seen Friday the 13th? This is the sign from that.
There are lots of people who buy at auction
Mhm.
props, costumes from movies, memorabilia. I mean, which is not unfamiliar to anybody who owns like sports memorabilia.
Mhm.
Of course, like this is their version of that. And so, who am I to say that you can't have in this photograph a framed autographed photo of Joe Exotic? I guess. I don't know. But
I think I'm interrupting you. The bathtub is for sex thoughts. You're not getting that. You could have got all the other and not got the bathtub.
Well, can I make the only argument for it being not for that? And I
You
think
can.
it's that it was such a moment of like everybody was talking about it. Like it was a very like a good or bad. People were like, "Did you see that scene?" That's why Pablo said that scene. I only happened to have seen the other scene, but you can't buy
the having
the
sex
grave.
with the grave.
You can't buy the grave. They weren't letting you. And so it was like a very talked about, very shocking scene. And so it really, to him, maybe, potentially, I'm not the guy, I'm not Steve Harvey, so I don't know. Maybe he was just like, look, this is a piece of like history. I'm not saying whether he's right or wrong, or even if this is a thing he thought, but it like is
Well,
like
I mean, Kyle Harvey said, quote, "It's a piece of history."
oh, okay.
That
That's
bathtub
did I
had TikTok going for days.
did that? That's crazy.
That is
Right?
crazy.
It's crazy because I know you didn't read this.
That's I didn't. I didn't even know.
What's
did I
crazy
get
is that
to
you
whatever we
immediately came up with the same excuse that a known sex pervert came up with.
and what does
allegedly.
that tell you?
Immediately.
Right off the top.
Is there anything you guys would want to own from any of your favorite shows or
Ooh.
movies? Like, is there a Severance object that you would like? Is there what? So there are some options here. Just because I know, for instance, like our friend David Sampson here at Meadowlark Media is one of
Your
these.
Shout out to my buddy
Your
Dave.
friend.
Davey Samson.
Your friend.
Mr. Samson. My man. The stories I could tell you about Dave. My God, do we have time?
He owns the FedEx box from Castaway.
What the f? This is like Darren
Wow.
It's not unlike Darren Ravel.
Ravel. Yeah.
He owns the pocket watch from Castaway.
Okay. This is
Okay.
so we're getting a real Castaway vibe here.
He
He doesn't
also,
have Wilson. There's no way he's got Wilson.
He does not have Wilson, but
Helen
God
Hunt
knows
was
he would
his
love
wife
to
in
have Wilson.
Castaway.
Helen Hunt
yeah.
was
I've
his
like
wife.
I've wiped that from my memory completely.
Girlfriend.
Interesting.
Sorry.
Girlfriend.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Nope, not to put any pressure on them.
Uh,
Whenever they're ready, you know.
David Sampson also owns Will Ferrell's hospital gown from Stranger Than Fiction.
Wow.
Stranger Than Fiction. Certainly not in Will Ferrell's top 5. I don't know.
movies.
I liked it too, but I'm still like, that's not what I would have guessed.
You're not thinking. It's not the first.
It's
thing
not.
that comes
It's
to
not.
mind.
No, and I would argue even the soccer one comes to mind before this.
And that's how well you know what that one is. That you call it the soccer one.
And what is it? Kicking and Screaming.
That's right.
It's a pretty low key good movie, and I say low key because I'm young. Let's go to the next.
Speaking of
Let's go to
not
the next,
being
whatever we
young,
have.
he owns the teddy bear from MASH. This is Radar's
Oh,
teddy bear.
this
Are you
is
familiar?
I'm
so
too
good.
young to know what that is.
This is so dick.
Too young to know what that is.
I mean, look at that.
It looks, I would say, vaguely terrifying.
Yeah, I do feel like I had a teddy bear that kind of looked like that with the weird
That
mouth.
teddy bear does look like it's been drowning in the Saltburn tub.
Wasn't Matt? Okay, why do we gotta go back to it?
Just
Why do we
covered
gotta
in
go back to? Is there an
edible
HR I
paint.
can hit up on my way out here
There
today?
is definitively
I feel
not.
I feel I'm being bullied. No! Oh my God, it's so milky.
I should also say that I also do not want to see that video again.
Thank you.
Well, I have bad
Not
news.
just a me thing. So glad my
Don't do it,
t-shirt's
don't do it.
gigantic.
We're not going to play it anymore.
Okay. I hid
Just
in my
kidding. We are
shirt.
going to play it again.
It's that noise. You hear the noise and you're like,
Yeah,
ah.
I'm gonna have a Pavlovian
PTSD.
shiver response to just.
Pavlovian.
Oh my God! Oh God!
What did we find out today?
As usual, nothing.
Katie,
As usual, nothing.
you always claim that you found out nothing on Pablo Torre Finds Out, a show about finding out stuff. And
Yeah.
you inevitably do realize at some point we found out so much today. So much.
Such as. Oh my God.
Son of a gun!
I found out
Son of a.
isn't the safe space I thought it was. I found out I'm not safe here.
Ugh.
I would like to have us edit into Michael Cruz Kayne's Severance scene footage of Michael Cruz Kayne talking on this episode that Adam Scott is watching. Can we do that?
Put it in the TV.
Yeah. I want this episode to be in the TV that Adam Scott is turning
And
off.
his head is blocking.
So my head is
just
still
your
blocked.
face.
Even
Yeah,
in
yeah,
this.
yeah.
Even
Us
in this.
us two are on the side that you can see.
Yeah.
Ben Still's
And
going to
then
listen
he-
to this episode of this podcast, call you guys and be like, it would be funny if you blocked his head.
Yes.
That would be funny if you did that.
Turns off the TV with the remote. End episode.
End episode.
Pablo Torre Finds Out is produced by Walter Averoma, Ryan Cortez, Sam Daywig, Juan Galindo, Patrick Kim, Neely Lohman, Rob McRae, Rachel Miller-Howard, Carl Scott, Matt Sullivan, Claire Taylor, Chris Tuminello, and Juliet Warren. Our studio engineering by RG Systems. Our sound design by NGW Post. Our theme song, as always, is by John Bravo. We will talk to you next time.